Welcome to World Travel Made Easy with Itinerary Boss, the podcast for busy professionals, entrepreneurs, and business owners who want to travel smarter, save money, and plan unforgettable trips without the stress. I'm Ross, your host and the founder of Itinerary Boss. I spent a decade building a career in healthcare, software, and medical device sales while planning both personal and business trips across more than 20 countries. Whether it was group getaways with friends, couples trips, or just mapping out business territories, I became the go-to person for saving money on flights, organizing those logistics, and using points to elevate the experience. Now, as an entrepreneur and business owner, I help others do the same by showing you how to travel better using points, smart planning, and those proven strategies. Each week, we bring you expert guests, step-by-step tutorials on points and miles, and real-world itineraries that we've used to help you plan with confidence. Whether it's using points to travel better, exploring a new destination, or just learning how to maximize your spending, we've got you covered. Before we dive in, go ahead and grab one of our free tools in the show notes. One, the points and miles cheat sheet that'll help you get started earning and redeeming points to save thousands on travel, or the stress-free travel toolkit that includes a budget guide, packing checklist, and planning tips to save you time and hassle. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or busy professional looking to choose your next credit card or get help maximizing your everyday spending for rewards and booking free travel, book a free one-on-one consultation. You can find the link within the show notes or head over to itineraryboss.com. And if this episode helps you, please share it with a friend or family member, follow the show, and leave a 5-star review. It's the best way that helps us grow. Now, let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to another episode of World Travel Made Easy with Itinerary Boss. I'm excited today to dive into the ultimate Amsterdam itinerary, as well as we'll dive into how to get there on points, where to stay, what to do, and what to eat. I'm excited to go into this because I got the chance to visit Amsterdam 2 times back in 2017 as well as 2018. So we're not going to run through any restaurants or places to eat just because those could have changed, but we'll definitely give you the path and guide you on how to get there, where to stay, what are some of the best things that we did, what were some of our favorites, and help you there. If you're new to the podcast, make sure that you give us a follow if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, or subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. We want to make sure that you don't miss any upcoming episodes where we dive into points and miles, tips and tricks, and solo tutorials, destination highlights specifically like this, where we roll out different series of places that we've been, as well as we bring on different guests and experts in the points and miles, as well as travel field. So a lot of valuable information that we're always putting out and hope to help you travel more, save money, and get you on your way. So with all that being said, we're going to dive in just to how do you get to Amsterdam? So the nice thing is, and this is, I get a lot of questions from people around Amsterdam because if you've never been to Europe, a lot of the times your people are looking at what is closest proximity to the US and how can I get there on a direct flight. Well, the good news is there's a ton of direct flights to get there, especially in the summer. So if you are on the East Coast and even on the West Coast, you're in luck. There's some that go from New York, Newark, Boston, Washington Dulles. That's where I'm originally from, and actually how we flew direct there. Atlanta, Detroit, Minneapolis, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, and then in the summer there's also some from Seattle, Portland, LA, San Francisco. So pretty easy to get over there direct. And even if you know what we're all about, right? If you're trying to fly business class, if you're trying to go on points, we're based out of Charlotte. So if we're wanting to go and we don't have a direct flight there, right, we can always find what is the best points deal and we can take a connecting flight. So, and that would be what we call a positioning flight. So even if you may not see Charlotte, direct, or it has a layover somewhere and it's more points, we could always take let's say, a positioning flight, maybe up to IAD in Dulles, see some friends, stay the night, drive down to Atlanta, fly down to Atlanta, or if there's other better, options, we could also take positioning flights up to other places on the East Coast, similar to New York, Newark, Boston. So there's always ways that you can do that, and that's the beauty of it. If you have any sort of flexibility and you have some of those points, you can, even if you have to pay cash to get up to the the destination that you want to fly out of. That's the nice thing is there's a lot of times going to be availability from those destinations since they have a lot of flights going in and out. So we recommend if you're trying to find award availability, we recommend seats.aero as well as Roame.travel. And those are softwares that we've shown in former episodes. So definitely go take a look at that if you want to do deeper dives. We actually have one that'll be coming out where we do a deeper dive into how to get to London and Ireland on points, and we run through that live with a friend. So check that out. It has all the questions you probably have. One other is also Points Path. If you are comparing cash to points prices, and since this is a pretty simple uh, redemption, since it's 6, 7 hour flight, this is one where you can compare that with Points Path, and that's a free downloadable you can go and download that as a free Chrome extension and just compare that. And that's a great one. And you can compare out to 60 days with the free version. And same thing with seats.air. You can look out 60 days in advance. Just thinking through programs that you can get over there on points. So Air Canada Aeroplan. So it's one of the best programs that we like. It has transferable points from all the big banks, and you're able to get over there sometimes in business class, 60 to 70,000 points, and then economy sometimes 30 to 40,000. You also can get a free stopover in Europe for 5,000 or more points. And what we actually have an episode coming out that'll be a deeper dive into stopovers. So if that's something that you're interested in, we will we'll make sure to share that here soon. There's also ANA Mileage Club. So sometimes you can find those in business class. Also economy. You have Avianca Life Miles. You have Flying Blue, and you have Virgin Atlantic. I really like if I were to pick, if you're just starting out in the points and miles space, Air Canada, Flying Blue, and Virgin Atlantic are going to be pretty simple ones. And those are ones that a lot of the times have really good transfer bonus offers. So that you see those coming out pretty frequently, and you can find pretty good award space. So Flying Blue usually will have, monthly promo awards, which is great. Air Canada with that free stopover is great if you're trying to visit another city. Say you can't get there direct, but you want to go somewhere else in the vicinity. You can leverage that stopover and add on that for 5,000 more
Hey, I
points.
wanted to take a quick break to say thank you so much for tuning into the show. The only way the show grows is through listeners like you helping us share it. So if you're enjoying the show, it'd mean the world to me if you hit that 5-star rating, shared it with a friend or family member who's ready to travel more, save money, or just needs a little bit more inspiration and that nudge. And if you're posting about it on Instagram, go ahead and tag Itinerary Boss, and we'll make sure to reshare it and shout you out for giving us a shout out. Thanks so much for the support. It truly means a lot. And now back with the
5,000
show.
more points. And then Virgin Atlantic recently has had some kind of crazy deals and opportunities back in May of 2025. So keeping a lookout on that. Sometimes you can find there were some flights from, just to give an example, with transfer bonuses and some of the deals that they do, there were economy flights for right around 4,000 points. And then there were under 30,000 for upper class, which is kind of unheard of to get from JFK to London. So always keep an eye out. That's something that we share all of those transfer bonuses as well as credit card elevated welcome offers. We get notified of those first, and we share those in our weekly newsletter across our socials, and we're always sharing those in our podcast episodes. So that's the beauty of it is you don't have to go and subscribe to 900 different things. We put that all together and we send all of that out and make it simple for you. So wherever you like to digest your information, whether that's podcast, whether that's newsletter, Instagram, LinkedIn, we're constantly sharing those updates. So make sure you follow anywhere there, and we hope we can help you. So once you get over there, it's pretty easy. Once you get from the airport, you can just you can hop on their train, and it's very cheap. You buy just quick pass, couple dollars to get from where you're going to where we would get off was the central station. And that's pretty easy just to get to the area. Depending on where you're staying, obviously it could be different, but we just got off there because a lot of the times we were staying right near that central area. And once you get there too, if you have to go to other places, you can, catch the train to those other stops. So you can put that in Google Maps, and Google Maps will show you, how to get there. That's the beauty of Google Maps too. It'll kind of give you that route. Where we stay. So when I went, we went with uh, three guys the first time. We stayed at one of the hostels right there, and I'll link it in the show notes. And then I went with six guys, and we stayed in a six-guy hostel. We actually stayed at the Bulldog within the red light district. So that's a obviously prime area, but there's so many different places in the central area. So we stayed. It's come back to my head. It's the Flying Pig was the first place that we stayed at. So if you like hostels, if you're going solo, or if you just want to, if you're going with a group, we loved it honestly. And you can get, single person. I think, if you've never experienced a hostel, I know a lot of people listening to this are more on the points and miles train, but if you've never experienced a hostel, I recommend staying in one because you get that experience. They do group type trips, tours, so they'll help plan, bake stuff out for you, and you're central. And it's when you go to Amsterdam, hostels are fun. So yeah, definitely go check those out. But if you're looking to go and stay on points, there's a couple that you can stay at. So if you have Marriott or you're wanting to transfer points over to Marriott, you have the W Amsterdam. You also have the Renaissance. And then if you're a Hyatt person, you have the Andes, and I'm gonna butcher this name, but the Prince Ingrat. Then you also have just your Hyatt Regency. If you listen to the show or follow us, we're more Hyatt people just because you can use your ultimate rewards to transfer directly to that. And when you're a lot of the times you can find award availability for anywhere from, 5, 10, 15, sometimes, 30,000 for some of the higher categories. But check those out. And then if you're wanting to stay at Hilton's, you also have the Waldorf Astoria for over 100,000 a night, and then you also have the Hilton Amsterdam, and those obviously will fluctuate with time of year, seasons, peak season, non-peak season. So keep a lookout for those, and then you also have the IHG, which we like a lot because, as we're recording this, there is a five free night bonus with the one of the IHG cards, and that's after you hit a certain spend. You're able to get that five free nights, and a lot of the times those can be up to 60,000 point stays. So you're pretty much getting 300,000 points, but those are up to 60,000 point stays. Just to put, and then when you're in Amsterdam, there's the Kempton Duet, and there's also the Intercontinental. Uh, to put it in perspective, we got that IHG free nights last year when it was also running in September. And we were able to hit that minimum spend. The reason we got it was we had a wedding at a Kimpton. We knew we were going to be hitting that spend with wedding expenses. We put every expense on the card at the Kimpton, and we're able to get 26 times the points on those. And also, since we hit that minimum spend, got five free nights. Those 26 times the points on all the expenses turned into 110,000 points, and then uh, gr- the five free nights actually turned into, we used one of those on our honeymoon in Bangkok, which saved us $250, and then we're using those in for a four free night stay within Grand Cayman this upcoming fall, and that's saving over $3,000 in cash price, and then using points to get there. So overall, saving around over $4,000 just on the trip from using points. So that's the beauty of it. It doesn't always have to be these transfer fly to lie flat first class seats to Hong Kong or right Japan. Sometimes you can get, just if you want to go a quick trip down to the Caribbean, you can leverage strategies like this And then another nice thing is, as we're recording on July 11th, until July 17th, 2025, IHG also has a 100% bonus where you actually can go purchase points. So if you were to purchase 50,000 points, you would actually get 100,000 points. So that's the nice thing is you can go get that. And right, like since we have an upcoming trip and we probably want to use IHG points next year for something else, might purchase some of those. And then on top of that, we'll get 26 times the points, on each dollar spent when we're in Grand Cayman. So I know we went off a little bit topic there, but always like to just break down some of the possibilities with points and miles, because I think if you are newer, like that shares like, hey, here are some simple ways to use some of those. And most people are familiar with Marriott, Hilton, most Hyatt, but sometimes IHG falls, slips under the cracks, and it did for me. So that's why, I traveled a lot. I always stayed at Marriott's, Hilton's, early on, and then realized the huge value of Hyatt a few years ago. Started staying there, but then the IHG piece is kind of an undercover hidden gem if you aren't deep in the points and miles game. So I wanted to share that. So once you get there, so right, we know how we get there. We know where we're gonna stay. Again, there's other hotels, there's Airbnbs, right? If you don't want to stay on points, there's plenty of other options. We also recommend Gondola AI. That's one that you can enter in it'll help you find all these. It'll also track all your points. It'll show the points that you can stay. It'll book directly with the hotel. And if you book, you get 3% cash back with those. So that's a nice thing. You're booking with it and you're getting those benefits. So we do recommend Gondola AI. It's a new tool. We walked through it in that episode I just mentioned, how to get to United Kingdom and Ireland, which will be coming out on July 23rd. So make sure you check that out because that's where you do a deeper dive, answer specific questions. But wanted to make sure I shared that. Once you get there, Amsterdam is pretty easy to get around. If you've never been, watch out for the bikes. Everyone's on bikes. It's kind of wild. Kids are in, their parents are driving down the streets. They have kids in like wooden, buggies in the front. Yeah. Just go sit at the corner, get an espresso, and maybe roll something up if that's your vibe, and yeah, just watch and you'll laugh. It's a good time. But once you get there, there's a lot of different things you can do. So some of the things that we did that I recommend is if you're a museum person, I mean you have to go to the Van Gogh Museum. Go early because it does get crowded, and you can buy skip the line tickets. You can buy tickets in advance. I recommend you do so you don't have to stand in line. But that's something that you definitely should do. Even if you're not an art person, just walk through. It's very historic. You have the I am Amsterdam sign, which is very very cool. You also have the Rijksmuseum. So that's right next to the I am Amsterdam sign. We didn't go inside that either time just because we're not huge museum people, but I've heard great things. And you can just get pictures outside, walk around that. Also, there's nine little streets, so you can just put that in Google Maps. You can wander around that and grab a snack at the coffee shop, and then just depending on how much you want to pack into one day, and then you also can do the Vondel Park. I think that would probably be your best bet for a single day. And then if you want to set up, they have different dinner cruises. So if you want to do a canal cruise on and do that, or you can also save that for the next day. So those are pretty easy. If you go and get your guide Viator, you can find a lot of those cruises readily available and choose which one you want to do. So that's what I'd recommend if you want to do a dinner cruise. If not, that's a pretty good first day. Just bump it to the next day. Also, check out what concerts do they have. When we were there, we actually J. Cole was actually playing the first time we went to Amsterdam. So we actually took the train and saw him at the Ziggo Dome. So check that out. That was fun. They do start on time. Weirdly, it wasn't like the US where they come out way late. So he was on. We actually walked in right when we tried to play it cool and get there. a little bit later, and he had just gone on. So, but that's a cool place if you want to check out a concert at the Ziggo Dome. Just check out what they have going on. So that would be your first day. If you, that's a pretty good day. If you wanted to separate it out, you don't have to do all those things, but that's a pretty light day. Then, definitely do the Anne Frank house. Buy those tickets well in advance, like 2+ months in advance. That's something that you can't just walk up to. So buy those. Sometimes they like, if you're planning it out, I mean, I would say get them even further in advance because I mean that's probably the most popular tour that goes on. So definitely do that. You can do a guided bike tour, or you can just get bikes if you want. Or you don't have to get bikes, right? If you don't want to. The first time we didn't ride bikes, we just walked. It's pretty walkable. So that's kind of pick your speed, but it's definitely it's an intense bike if biking if that's what you want to do. So if you wanted to do um if you wanted to do a canal tour, you could that same day, but if you had already done the dinner cruise, don't worry about that. And then if you want to, walk through the red light district, you can. You don't have to during the day. You can at night. Kind of pick which one you want to do there. But that's a definite to walk through. There's a lot of fun bars right around there, outside. So definitely do that in the evening. You also, I highly recommend doing sunset cocktails at the Hilton DoubleTree Sky Lounge. It's a great view, a lot to just good drinks. And then you definitely want to bar hop in Lides Plain. That's the area where there's all, different bars. It's just pretty much where everything goes down. So definitely check that out. And if you like to gamble or anything, or you just want to have a late night, the Holland Casino is also somewhere you can go. And then if you want to, yeah, and then the last day, I mean, I think for us, we walked around like our third day. I mean, that's a lot packed. That's packed in into 2 days. So if you want to relax, if you want to walk around, if you want to shop, if you want to go to a coffee shop, and just check stuff out, like I would just leave it your second or last day, for that. And then from there, if you want to travel other places, it's pretty accessible, right, to get to other places within Europe. Or if you want to take the train to other areas in Netherlands, that's something that you can do. But that's all we got this week. Amsterdam's pretty easy. I mean, I would say the biggest things are if you're wanting to do the Anne Frank house in advance, definitely get those tickets 60 to 90 days out. And then the other stuff you pretty much can walk around and do closer to that. If you're doing a sunset cruise, make sure you do that. Van Gogh, definitely get those tickets in advance. But other than that, it's pretty easy to get to. And if you have any questions, shoot us a DM, leave us a comment. If there's anything else you'd like to hear or learn about in these type of episodes, let us know, and we're happy to help. But again, appreciate everyone tuning in. And if you're new to the show, again, make sure you share this with a family or friend who wants to travel more or wants to learn more about points and miles. And we will see you next week.